Okay, today we're going to make stencils with the Cricut Joy. And I have made stencils with it before, but I got this Mylar. Before I always used just papers. So this size paper is exactly the right size for the Cricut machine. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up all our materials. And I'm going to start with, I'm going to use an index card. I'm going to use some heavier stock paper to make sure things are okay. This is a like a sheet from a die set. I'm going to see if we can cut that, and then I'm going to use this blank stencil sheets from Emigoo, and they caught my eye because they have the thing that is like the mat for the Joy. So that was good marketing, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut, and I would use my paper cutter, but I'm going to be cutting stencil material, and I don't want to use my very precious Martha Stewart fancy paper cutter to cut stencil material, because you cannot replace the blade in Martha's. And it's my favorite one. I have a Fiskars. I don't like that one as well. So eventually Martha will probably die and I will be devastated. Plus, like especially with these paper ones, maybe with the plastic ones, I may try to be a little bit safer, but like I don't really notice if there's not quite a straight line. It's not something that I really think about. If you think about things like that, then I suggest you use a paper cutter so you can have super straight lines, right? All right, so we have a couple of those. We have this. Let's cut this thing. And these are my titanium scissors, so I'm not sure that they're that much specialer than normal scissors, but they do appear to cut stuff pretty well. So they're not my special, like very special paper scissors. All right, and let's grab one of these sheets. And they're 12 by 12, and the Joy cutting area, it's very thin. Okay. The Joy cutting area is 6.5 by 4.5. Okay. So let's do this. And we should be able to get, I don't know. I'm not good at math, but I think I can turn it at least 3 different ways and get 3 of these out of it. Or if I was better at math, I may be able to do all the ways and get more out of it. But see, because that won't go that way. So we have to go this way long. And I was a little bit worried that cutting plastic would hurt my Joy blade. But this is just kind of a little fluffy. It's very lightweight. So that's fine. Let's do one this way. And then I think we can get the 4th one out of there. I think that I mathed really good. Because I'm going to making stencils and masks today, and then I'm going to use them in my circus project later on, because I'm working on my circus pages. The nice thing about the Joy is I can have an idea in the morning. I can go to Design Space, make a little design for, especially one of them, I just used a whole bunch of circles. Anybody could do that. For a couple of the other ones, I ordered some SVG files. You can buy them almost anywhere. But you can have an idea in the morning, grab your Joy, turn it on, and it doesn't have to be this whole big production. I wanted to get the maker or the, I don't know, the fancy Cricuts, and my husband was like, no. And so I was very sad. And then I found out about this little guy, and I'm so glad he said no, because I love this little guy. So we're going to start off with the easy ones that are just paper. So this is index paper. And mostly I just want to make sure the thing's cut, index card paper. Mostly I just want to make sure the thing's cut right. And then I have found that the most important thing in this whole part of this project is to get your paper super stuck down on your mat. That is the most important. Okay, so we're going to go into the Cricut design space. We're going to go to categories. We're going to go to my projects in the cloud. I'm going to start with the first one, lines and doodles. I got to customize it because I have to weld it all together. Project always exists. I'm going to say keep previous because it's already there. Let's make sure it's all one. Can we weld it? It won't let us weld it, so it's already there. Let's say make it on mat. There we go. Continue. I'm using cardstock. Now we need to load the material. So you just pop this open. You got this nice and stuck on your mat. Stick it in. It's going to make sure it has enough room to do everything. And then you click go, and it's going to cut that out for us. So I want to see if it cuts out all right. Since I designed this stencil, I want to make sure that it's going to actually be good for this. And I will not make you watch this whole thing. Okay. So now you have to go and click unload, and then it kicks it the total way out. Now I'm super glad that I did this because like on these little skinny lines, it appears as if, well, I guess they're okay, but I have a trick. Oh, this actually did a really good job. Hang on. All right, let's pull this off. Oh, this did a lot better job than I thought. That having been said, what I'm going to do, now that I'm going to cut the plastic one, so this did really well. And this isn't even the type of material you should use to cut. This was an index card. Okay, it actually did a really great job. But I'm going to have it cut it twice, and I'll show you how you do that. So let's do this. And it took about, I would say, 5 to 7 minutes to cut it. So we're gonna get our thing back in. We're gonna say continue. Okay, so we have, I might almost use vinyl. Let's do, it's not smart vinyl. Let's do medium cardstock. Let's do medium cardstock. And I think you could look through those and find it, like a stencil plastic, but if you care, you could do that. Okay, so we're gonna push go, and we're gonna let this cut. And then the secret is when it says unload, you don't unload, you just cut it a second time, okay? So that's gonna be what we're gonna do the second time is we're not gonna push unload, we're gonna let it cut it again. So again, I will not make you watch it cut clear plastic. I will hit you in the middle when I show you how not to unload it, and then we'll cut this one twice. Okay, so two things we're going to do here. So number one, instead of unload, I'm going to say try again. And I want it to cut this exact same thing again. If you don't unload it, you will get exactly the same cuts. If you unload it and put it back in, you may not get exactly the same cuts. So if you're doing something that you think is a little iffy, like this may be a teeny bit iffy, I want to make sure to give it the very best chance to work so that I just redo it there. Now the second thing is, when I got the Cricut, they were like, do you want the Cricut tools, right? And I'm like, I don't need no Cricut tools. I have a paint scraper. I have all of that. Well, after doing some stuff with the Cricut and this mat, this little Cricut tool scrapey thing is probably the best thing ever for getting these pieces off the mat. And while you weren't here, I did a whole bunch, you know, I had to clean up all those little tiny pieces off of the mat. And without this tool, it would have been a nightmare. So for sure, if you're on the fence, you know, if you're on a limited budget, you use your paint scraper. But if you are trying to make life easy, for sure, this little Cricut tool thing is the shizzywig. Okay, this time we are going to unload it, right? And now I'm going to pull this off. And you can see all the little stencil pieces falling out. And it's hard to see, but we have a whole stencil cut out. And at the end, I will show you using it. But I'm super pleased with how it turned out. A couple of these little ones are stuck here. I'll pull them off. I mean, they're cut out, but they're just maybe a tiny piece of it's attached. So you just pull them off. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a mask. Okay, and when I say I spend time sticking my stuff to the mat, I probably spend as much time sticking stuff to the mat as I do getting the paper ready. So we're going to go home, and these are masks. So I'm going to make circle masks. There you go. So now I got them all. We're going to say weld because we want them all to be cut out in the manner that I want them to be. All like, because I have circles within circles. And now we're going to say make it. And these are going to make the masks. I want to use these circle masks in my artwork on mat. There you go. It's all in the mat. We're going to say continue. I can tell I'm going to have little pieces of plastic all over my life. Okay, we said we did medium cardstock. We're going to load it. So you got to kind of take it out and put it in, and then it notices you're there. There we go. And we're going to say go. All right, we're going to say the same thing on this one. I did that one real time because it was super fast. Okay, and we're going to say unload. And it'll kick it out. And now I have, number one, I have this that I can use as a stencil. Although if I wanted to use this lightweight of material as a stencil, I wouldn't have cut out as much. Like on this one, there's a lot of stencil material left to kind of hold it together. On this one, it would be very floofy, but we're going to try it. And then I have all these pieces. This is actually what I was trying to make. You always want to pull your mat away from your thing, not your thing away from your mat. So now I have those to use as masks. I have this. And I have all of these. So I'm going to get all these off the mat, and I'm going to make one more stencil with you because it's going to be numbers, and it's kind of really cool. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to have if you would like me to put that in my resource library on my website. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. All right. So I think for sure I would do the numbers one I have and the circles one if you guys want it. The other one I think I need to work on a little bit more. This was really a test to see how I'm going to make these stencils, but we want to go home. We want to go to number stencils, and I need to select them all and weld them. There we go. If we hard push the first time, we can go to actions weld. If we touch anything else, then it's kind of dwarfy to try to get rid of that thing. All right, we're gonna say make it on matte. There we go, it's sized right. We're gonna say continue. Set material, medium cardstock. Load. So we gotta slide this in here, and then it feels itself. We're going to say cut. Okay, we're going to kick this one out, unload. And the cool thing about making your own stencils is we will have both the stencil and the mask for this, right? So I don't know if you can see this. I have a number 3 that I can throw down on a piece of paper, as well as this really cool stencil. So I'm gonna get all our masks ready and all our stencils ready, and I'm gonna do a quick spritzy spritz so you can see what happens. All right, I thought we would test out our masks and our stencils with some Lady Dye sprays, because hers are always so pretty and bright. That's Diane Reevely sprays. So we have 3 things to make little backgrounds with. So I'm going to start with the stencils. So let's make a big stencil first. So let's do our circles, right? Okay. Very cool. Now I think we could probably stick them down and get a little bit more crispness, not Christmas, crisp. That's very hard for me to say. All right, so that turned out good. I like that. Let's go ahead and sop up a little bit of this pink over here. We're just getting some color moving around. All right, so I think the circles worked really well. Let's keep going with this. All right, let's put this over here to dry. All right, now we have so the other 2 stencils we have are kind of our squiggles and our numbers. So let's do our numbers here and our squiggles here and see what happens. And let's do that in green. Okay. Whoo, that's cool. I'm going to flip it over here. Let's see how this one works. I'm not sure yet. Ooh. Ooh, that worked even better than I thought it would. Ooh, how fun. All right, we're going to put this on top of let's see. I almost feel like I want a different paper because that turned out really good. It's not like I don't have a million pieces of paper. Okay. So let's do that. We're going to let that sit for a wee minute. And then our other stencil is over here. See how that did as a mask. I would say that more gave us a kind of a blobby bit, but this turned out really well. Okay, and is that all our stencils? Nope, this is our other stencil. So we have circles, squiggles. Ooh, I think that turned out pretty. Look at that, that's gorgeous. Okay, so we have these ones going so far that I think look really good. I love those. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna use some masks. Okay, let's try to get Get our things up here. And we have some fun masks. So I have these little squiggles. I don't know if they're gonna work. This is my least favorite right now. And I don't know if these little squiggles I cut out of it are gonna work, but we'll put them over there and see what happens. Oh, this is gonna be lots of our circles because I think that'll be fun. I even have, so I have that cutout circle. It's hard for you to see, I know. I'm sorry. All right, so we're gonna try that. We're gonna make circles over here. And in addition to that, we're gonna use some of our numbers. So I got some little numbers over here where I just kept the parts, and those are the skinny numbers. And these are the fat numbers. So let's do some oh, there's another 7. I think those would get lost very easily. I'm not gonna be devastated if they get lost. All right, let's do this. I want these to sort of be upright at least. Because I'm kind of liking this little page. Now, I'm not making care that they're backwards or forwards. In fact, I kind of like that they're backwards and forwards. All right, and then we have some circles. So let's do some more circle masks. So I'm just putting stuff down. All right, now we're gonna spray. Okay, the circles are better at holding themselves. I didn't think of that with the numbers, that the numbers might move. The circles are definitely better at keeping themselves together, right? So if we hold that down, we get like a little circle-y thing, and then we can turn this over here and get the other circle-y edge. Okay, let's see. I kind of want to, let me do this, because we're just playing, we're just testing, right? What happens, because I want to kind of sop up that ink so that we can pull the masks off without the ink. I think they're getting hooked over here. Do we have any more of them sticking on there? Maybe not. Okay. Okay. Here we go. All right. So, sorry for the weird jump, but my camera died in the middle. All right, so here are the final pages that we made with the stencils, and you can see them a little bit better now that they have grunge on them. But making those stencils and the masks with the Cricut Joy was super, super easy. I will for sure be doing those again, and I think that the ease of the Joy and the ease of making things in the design space makes it so that I'll definitely be popping. If I need a square, I can pop out a square. If I need a different shape, I can do all that for myself. So hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.